Welcome to New Game Plus. You are listening to a retro gaming podcast where three guys spend 7 days playing one old game, and then we talk about it. My name's Dustin.
My name's Kenny.
I'm Nolan.
And this is episode 70.
Boom.
Whole number. Shaka 70.
There's the interjections. I'm glad I paused for it. I want us, at the start of this episode, to go back in our minds and think about high school. Yeah. What a good time, right? I want you to think of your favorite part about high school, and then I want you to think about your least favorite part about high school. So, did you enjoy the clubs and the extracurricular activities, school spirit,
the
pep
bullying?
Rallies, but you hate the bullying and the early hours and a certain professor? I don't know. So, what's your favorite and what's your least favorite parts of high school?
Oh, man. I don't think about high school ever, so I don't know. Okay, favorite thing about high school was not having to do anything real life, you know? Like, you just go home and then play video games. I guess just hanging out with friends. I miss some of my friends that I never see anymore. Least favorite? I didn't get bullied, so I don't know.
It's because he was bullying kids.
You were the bully.
No, I was not. I hung out with bullies, but I didn't partake. I just didn't really care for
school.
I guess. I mean, I like learning. I liked college, but high school was really boring. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's probably my least favorite, is just going to class.
Kenny, if you can remember back that far.
I know that was a long time ago now, right?
Right?
It's like 36 years ago.
Jokes. Like 42 years ago.
So, favorite? Least favorite?
I was a band nerd. That's probably not a surprise. And
so that's
I really
both
missed
favorite
that.
and least favorite.
Yeah, kind of. There are great things about that and terrible things about that. No, probably just all the activities. Like, you get excuses to do a lot of things that you don't get to do in life, you know? And that was great. So I even, enjoyed class. Least favorite, homework. I was one of those kids who, let me learn the stuff in class. If I can understand the content and take the test and pass it, drop it. I don't have to go home and do this more.
Yeah.
And so I hated classes that were really homework heavy.
Yeah. For me, my favorite was my senior year, just all together. I think I had 3 classes, and one of them was nurse's aide. So that was kind of an incredible setup. And I got to leave for work leave at 11:30. So it was just a wonderful... Yeah, for the day.
So you had a less busy schedule your senior year than you did as a not busy undergrad.
Right. No,
I messed up my senior year and did calculus and this
and
engineering program that they let some students do, and I was like, oh, I'll do it. I didn't get to leave at 11. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was nice. And then I got to go to work as an intern and make some money. So I was never that involved in school and the community that was going on there, just for various reasons. But that was probably my favorite. My least favorite would probably be the dreaded Rash and Zitz and Pimples that most teenagers get around this time.
What, Kenny, you didn't have any?
Whatever.
What?
No, but it just wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah, it was.
Freaks out.
Self-conscious.
Dustin was just too vain, is all it is.
So thanks for being here and join us as we talk this week about our retro video game Battletoads, whose main characters are Rash, Zitz, and Pimples.
Oh, I didn't even see that one coming. Normally,
neither of you recognized what in the world that I just did.
Yeah, normally I know your vector, where you're coming from, and I start shaking my head halfway through your terrible segue.
That means it was a good one this time.
I just got blindsided by that.
Nice.
Terrible.
Those are the best ones.
Oh. Wow.
So Battletoads.
Let's do an overview.
Let's do it. Battletoads is a platforming NES title that was released in 1991. And Rare developed it. So that's the Rare that made some of the games we've played and love.
Some of the best ones.
Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong Country. Really great company. I didn't know that they made this game, actually. This was news to me. That's just me not knowing gaming stuff back in the day. But Rare made it, and it's a very popular game when it was released, and to this day, it's been speedrun. I mean, it's still a big part of the speedrunning community. I'm sure they did it at AGDQ. I didn't check. But, yeah, you play as a toad that fights his way through scrolling levels, and that's not always side-scrolling. That's another notable thing about this game, is that there's a lot of variation in level design. It's not just cookie-cutter left to right every time. But yeah,
let's clarify here. You said you play as a toad.
Yeah.
Which is not completely correct.
Okay.
You play as a Battletoad. Come on. Totally different thing. You get to punch people with giant fists and kick them and wield weapons.
I hope
and
that
you make it sound really mild.
I hope that someone didn't think that you're just literally like a toad in a swamp,
hopping around,
jumping around and
licking flies. Come on.
You might. You could have a platformer where you're just a little toad, and that would not be great.
Exactly. We wouldn't be playing that right now, probably.
Exactly. Let's clarify.
Okay, fine.
Clarity
So I'll just so Kenny is okay. You play as a Battletoad.
Yeah,
that wears sunglasses. Well, some of them do, and you punch and you kick your way through these levels, and you're punching and kicking pigs, psycho pigs actually, that are the minions of the villain in this game. That is an overly sexualized girl named the Dark Queen. Like ridiculously sexualized,
but
like
so are those
out
toads.
of place. Those toads are pretty naked.
Nude.
They're pretty nude, and they get like spike
naked.
belts and stuff.
They're toads.
But
they're not
yeah,
supposed
but
to
this
wear
girl's
clothes.
butt's hanging out. Like it's very out of place. It's kind of random.
Butts hanging out
everywhere. Okay, so
I don't know that I even noticed that.
You didn't notice the butt,
No.
but you noticed the nude toads.
I mean,
Kenny's got his priorities.
Right. It's weird when your anthropomorphic animals get like overly dressed.
Okay,
I don't know.
Save your big words for the band nerds, you nerd. All right. So yeah, the plot's. I mean, I guess it's a plot. It's just you.
No.
You're in a spaceship, and well, yeah, they're from space, by the way.
Car.
A what?
It's a spaceship car.
Okay.
Get it
And
right.
it's shaped like a vulture. It's called the Vulture. And anyways, you're going through space, and then your comrades get kidnapped by this Dark Queen girl, and you have to go and get them back. And that's it. It's very in line with how silly the title of the game and the gameplay is. So that's
Now,
basically what
Dark
Battletoads is.
Queen, her ship is the Vulture. Is that right? Can
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
The
And-
car is what
Whoa.
the people that get kidnapped are in.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah. Okay. And so Rash and Zitz are the characters that you could potentially play, and they're out to rescue their friend Pimple and the princess from the evil Dark Queen.
Wait, are
How
you
could not
sure
wanna
that
read this story?
her ship is the Vulture?
Yeah.
You start in that one, and the headquarter dude is in that one.
Oh, he might be.
Yeah,
right.
I think we're the Vulture. I think she's the weird like maw
Spider.
thing.
I don't know, but
what-
here's the thing: the Pimple and the princess, they go off on their own. Why are we even?
It doesn't
taking time
matter.
to talk about this. Plot?
It's
Doesn't
important.
matter at all.
It is
the
important.
plot is just an afterthought to set up the levels. The
Nah.
story is
it's a
terrible.
weak plot.
See,
No,
no,
it's-
this is a story game first and foremost, and platformer
Oh my
second.
goodness!
It is.
Great character development.
Spend all game just correcting Nolan on how wrong he is.
But this game is in response to the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles craze that was going.
Yeah,
That's their
and they-
answer.
And they tried to like make it the same kind of thing. Like they made a spin-off TV show out of
guess.
this.
That was
They
terrible.
had that whole
animated.
teenage vibe with the names of the characters.
The only
I don't know.
similarity I got was they're both green. The characters
And-
are both
and-
green, and they fight.
They're fighting animals. Yeah.
But they're not, like, ninjas. I just thought it was
No.
silly that this was their, like, oh, let's get in on that
Battletoads.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles craze. Battletoads.
In fairness, though, they made a completely different kind of game.
I'm fine
did.
with that. We'll see. We'll see.
Which we'll see right now. We'll talk about it now in gameplay.
Cold coffee.
Can I just say up front that Battletoads is widely considered one of the most difficult video games that's ever been created?
You can say that because I played it for the first time and it's freaking hard.
Yes, you can.
Kenny,
and no one will argue with you.
You mentioned it at the end of last episode about it being this going to be a difficult week. And I remember it being hard. I remember it being difficult. I didn't remember it being impossible.
For real, though.
And that's what it was.
You misremembered then.
I did.
I think I have memories of this game, and my memories of this game, I think, match everyone's memories of this game if they were a kid. Although in my case, I think it was even more traumatic, because every memory of this game I have playing it as a child was playing with friends and trying to play this game two-player. And this game
which makes it even
is
more
the
difficult.
single most difficult two-player game probably ever. If it's one of the harder games, period, it goes from being like really tough to virtually impossible when you try and play two-player. Not only is it like punishing in that like if one of you dies, you both reset and you don't get extra lives, but friendly fire is on and can't be turned off.
What?
And your hitboxes are really big.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the difficult levels you have to do in sync with each other.
Right.
And like if one of you dies, it resets the whole thing. Like if somebody screws up level 3 on the the moving and dodging stuff first level of that, it's not like the other person can finish it out. You can go back and start again. So I remember this game being like 2 minutes of impossibility and then me just turning it off and playing something else instead.
Well, and if I recall correctly, on the original release in America, one of the final stages, where you both have to get on a machine that rides really fast and hold on, the second player doesn't move. There's like a glitch. There's
like
something that was
glitches
messed up in the mechanics that the second player couldn't move. So if you wouldn't have to worry about this because you're not going to get that far. But if you got that far with both players, then you're screwed because you can't even complete the game.
So
I think, if I recall.
It's not just figuratively impossible to play it as two players. It's literally impossible to beat the game as two players.
Yeah, and
So,
metaphorically.
I'm not surprised.
Probably shouldn't have been multiplayer.
I'm going to
I
call
feel
it
like
a feature,
it's-
not a bug.
I feel like
'Cause
it's
that's how
such a
difficult
single
this
player
game is.
game. It doesn't need that.
No, but think co-op. Like anytime any other games, like hey, you can play single player, but you can also play with a friend, like Sunset Riders.
Especially
Like
simultaneous co-op. Like
Right,
so
but
maybe you
I
have
feel
to
like
swap
Sunset
off.
Riders.
I love that.
The point of Sunset Riders was multiplayer. Like
This
it
could've
was an
been a game that
arcade
did
game
that
centered
really
around
well.
4 different spots on the arcade.
If
this
instead
was
of
just
making
like
the game harder, it made it easier if there wasn't friendly fire, and if one of you died, you could either like borrow lives or finish out a level for someone so that you could carry someone else. It could have been an answer to a really difficult game. Hey, grab a buddy and play through it and you can sort of survive. Instead, it literally makes this game unplayable.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why it's so difficult, though, even in single player, because that's what we got to do
Sure.
most of this week.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, there's different level designs, and so there's one notorious one that I'm sure we'll talk about, but like other than that, also in addition, you have to like punch. It's a button masher. When you really look at it, you're mashing punch to combo the enemies, but they lock you into a combo themselves, and you can't really get out of it, and so it's just a hard game from the beginning.
It's a punishing game, even on the levels that like are easy until you learn them, and you can like all of the beat 'em up portions.
Yeah, I
once
just
you
played
kind
them a
of
second
learn how
time.
things work.
Yeah,
Not too bad at all. Very bearable. But even then, like the mechanics aren't very forgiving at all.
right.
Let's
Yeah,
do this.
Okay.
Let's walk through the levels, at least some of them, because and that will help our viewers understand kind of the progression of the difficulty of this game. So the first level is your learning stage. Like most video games, it kind of intros you in soft. You're like, this is going to definitely be doable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you're learning the mechanics, you're learning the jump, you're learning your fighting mechanics, which I actually liked. Nolan, you didn't care for those?
Not really. No.
Like
I like button
it's not
mashers,
just,
but
it's not just punch and kick. You can using the D-pad. You can do a certain series of things. So you can
punch
slam,
and kick and throw. You
and
can
you
like
can throw.
I know
you
you
can
can
bash
pick up
people,
items
you
and
can
you
run
can
into
use the
them.
items.
slam enemies down into the ground. Your foot can turn into a boot. You can double tap the directional D-pad and then hit, and you'll either do a ram's horn or a big fist. So like there's once you understand and kind of get a grasp of all of that, you can master it pretty well. But anyways, you learn that during level 1. Level 2 is that cavern that you descend.
Right, you've just learned how to do all of these things, and then level 2, you immediately have to relearn the game because the mechanics are totally different. New game.
Right, because you're not on your feet anymore. You're on a dangling wire that can be snipped by birds that are flying across the screen.
Yeah,
right.
And also there was one vulture that I couldn't kill. I had to reset the game. I don't know why I couldn't kill it, but I was on the screen with one flying around, and I was trying to kick him. And it wouldn't die. Like the hitbox wasn't working. I don't know if it was a messed up like version of the game or if I was doing something wrong, but I had to start it over.
Interesting. And if you get through those 2 stages, which you can with a little bit of work and
fairly easily.
Yeah, fairly easily. Then you're going to end up on level 3, and you might possibly kill yourself because this is the notorious speed tunnel.
Yeah,
not bad.
And
tunnel of torture.
So you're riding this motorcycle and these walls keep spawning, and it's usually like on the top and on the bottom, and then there's some that you have to jump over, and then you have to ramp over giant gaps. And you're like, not too bad, it shows me where they're going to spawn. But then other stuff starts happening, and enemies start coming on the screen, and then it speeds up like times 10 out of nowhere.
Your timing has to be perfect.
Perfect timing.
If you mess up, you go back to your last checkpoint, which often is like pretty much at the beginning, unless you've gotten pretty far in. You've got to hit these things moving rapidly. Like it almost reminds me of a like reaction-based kind of game. You go from like a platformer to almost like an NES version of like one of those weird games that like
dancing games,
like music and
the rhythm
stuff falling,
games,
and you have to like hit things in time.
Yeah,
because it's all about timing and memorizing the sequence, pretty much. I think anybody who's actually gotten good at it isn't doing it on just raw reactions unless they're some kind of superhuman. I feel like they've just played it again and again and again and again, and you pretty much learn to do it.
Yeah, it's impossible to do the first time. It's impossible to do just with reaction. I'll say that. Impossible to do first, just sitting down with raw reaction. What it is a memorization game, and it's you learning what comes when and how to react to that. Because even if you're able to avoid the walls, then you've also got to nail the ramp and jump off of it at the proper point so that you can get to the next ground area. Because if you don't, you're going to fall into the pit. So there are so many things that can trip you up. Thankfully, there are a few checkpoints littered throughout the stage, but still, you're going to be visiting those checkpoints regularly.
And when it does that like triple time speed, that's not okay. I mean, that's the very end of the stage, but I couldn't. It's too fast, way too fast.
So unless you play it multiple times, or you have save states, then maybe you can eventually move to stage 4, which is an ice stage that I didn't play. Not because I got stuck on the speed tunnel, because I eventually made my way through it, but because I actually hit a warp in stage 3, which took me past stage 4. So there are like, I think 4, maybe 5 warps in this game. There's even one on stage 1 that forwards you 2 stages, which is pretty.
That's how they do the speed run.
I think it's worth talking about stage 4 though, because once again, notice every stage so far has been completely different.
Right.
In terms of level design and creativity, that is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
As a concept, what they did with this game was mind-blowing. I want to like this game more than almost any other NES game we've played in terms of the look and the visuals and like the concept of level design. Like, boom, now it's an ice stage and it's unique. Boom, now it's a water stage and it's unique. Boom, now there's this tower that does this faux like round visual where you're jumping up and having to like hit platforms, and every stage feels completely unique, which is great from a design and like creativity standpoint, but from a learning and progressing in a game, at all, let alone a game that's already especially difficult, it just makes this game next to impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what about the snake stage? Did you guys get that far, and
Nope.
did you enjoy it?
I didn't get that far.
It was also terrible. Here's the deal: like what they do is they take good ideas. No. It was a great stage. It was fun, but they take good ideas and then they like add a million extra spikes in places that don't make sense. And it's one of those games that unless you learn it by repetition, and like in the water tower stage, and I say this just because it matches the snake stage. There's places you jump down, you can't see where you're jumping.
Yeah.
And the place you would normally jump down is spikes.
Right.
And until you do that and die and learn, oh, I have to do this weird, obscene jump that doesn't make any sense, you can't progress through the level. It's just so absolutely
Well, see, I'm
finishing.
okay with that. Like, to trial and error type stuff, I feel like that's just how this genre goes and retro gaming goes. Like, I'm okay with that.
In gaming, but I still don't like it as an idea.
I didn't get there, but I thought I mean, I've seen the stage, and I see what you're saying. Like, you have to jump in places that you wouldn't normally jump, but I mean, I don't know. I think it's okay learning those patterns and playing. It gives it replayability if you enjoy the actual like feel of the game.
I mean, it definitely gives it replayability. Here's my thing. I think good game design means that as you get better at the mechanics of the game, you get better at completing the stages. And there's some of that here, but more so than that, it's repetition and it's memory. It's not.
And level to level are so different on their difficulty. There's no progression. Like you go like easy level, impossible level, sort of doable level, really difficult level, oh, super easy cake level, oh, you're going to rip out all your teeth and crush them under your feet because you hate life kind of level. Right. It's just, there's no like natural progression of difficulty.
I'll say this, Nolan, you should be thankful that that Speed Tunnel ended your gameplay this week because
I mean,
although Speed Tunnel is difficult, there's worse, and that's hard to believe, but there are two stages in particular that are even more impossible than the Speed Tunnel,
including Speed Tunnel Part B.
Yes, which are you talking about the one that has the kind of the yellow lasers
and then they open
and close,
and then they close on you,
and it's just memory. It's just memory. That and then Rat Race.
Yeah, Rat Race. Hit me.
A rat materializes and then starts run. It's a descending stage, and you have to beat the rat down.
You're not on a rope like the other one.
No,
you're just falling.
You're running down, and you have to beat the rat down to the bottom of the stage and kick the bomb before the rat makes it down to the bottom. And you have to do that 2 or 3 times, and it gets progressively faster each time. To where the final time you have to have near perfect inputs on your descent and missing all the platforms on your fall to be able to beat the rat on the way down.
Yeah, that's not fun to beat the game. I mean, maybe as like a bonus stage or like after the fact, but that again, would stop you right in your tracks if you're trying to beat this game for the first time. That's not fun.
The variety and the design of like, hey, let's not just have the same thing every level. Let's do this unique thing where you have to be in a race and then like get there first, and it doesn't feel like everything else. To me, is genius. Right. Like I feel like this game had the potential to be one of the best NES titles ever.
I don't.
If they'd just tested longer, fixed the errors with multiplayer, and toned the difficulty back by like 40%, and it still would have been a really hard game.
I think it would be novel, but I think it's far from being one of the. I don't think it even had the potential to be one of the best.
The novelty and the music and the graphics to me just blow my mind.
I agree with you, Kenny. This is NES. This is not Super Nintendo. This is NES, and I think that they did things that other games were incapable of doing at this time, and they did it in such a creative way. Music was spectacular. It was the same guy that composed the music for like Donkey Kong Country and some other games. The level design and the colors and the story was terrible, but besides that, the gameplay was fun and novel. It was just this difficulty level.
Okay, guys, let's pause real quick and talk about something that this game is known for, and that is that really terrible pause music.
Yeah, let's pause.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
this repeating beat that literally just goes on indefinitely.
It doesn't change
when you pause the game. It doesn't.
And it's
silent.
not good at the beginning at all.
No, it literally just Dustin's nailing it right now. If you're slightly annoyed with him right now, imagine that times 10 every time you pause this game. So it makes you smile for like the first 10 seconds, and then you just want to like reset your console.
Someone shared that in the Discord this week, and it's like, I was thinking, pause music is so pointless, why even have it? But then I was like, wait a minute, GoldenEye had some awesome pause music, and there's other games that do it too, so it is important. Like, just don't make it that awful repeating. Just do something else. Anything else would have been better.
It was like a 2-second song on repeat.
Yes, 2 seconds. 2 beats.
Noise on repeat.
Awful.
It's worse than what we're doing right now. So pull up YouTube and do a search for just Battletoads pause music.
What a stressful game. Hey, let me pause real quick and think about how I'm going to tackle this fast level. I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's talk about how this game aged and whether or not it holds up today.
Seems okay. So I didn't get to experience as much as you guys did. I got stuck on that infamous level, but I still feel like I can sort of speak to how it ages compared to what we're playing. So I really felt the age on this one. I'm not with you guys on the fact that it's like really good design. I think the art's okay. I think the graphics were pretty good for NES, but other than that, and I like the music, but I just felt like the gameplay was bad. And the level variety is welcomed by me, but it's not. It didn't work, and even if it did work, it wouldn't be the best NES game at all. I feel like the difficulty was a large factor for me in enjoying the game, and I feel like it would affect anybody. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But I like
the main conversation point on this game.
I like difficulty though, and I like learning the game, but this is in a different league. This is completely different.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Here's the thing. We've talked about it already some. The graphics and music, they're both amazing. The style is truly unique. The difference in stage design and what's needed in those stages are even fun. They just took that and tried to go to a whole new level. I feel like that it wasn't play tested before releasing, at least not to the degree that it should have been, because even the creators, I have a feeling if they actually sat down and tried to play these stages, they'd realize, hey, maybe this is a little bit too hard, and it's not even fluid. Kenny mentioned earlier, but like 3 is impossible, but 4 is pretty simple. Stage 7 is impossible, but 8 is a walk in the park. The final 3 stages then are hell in a video game. So it's not consistent. The difficulty level is not okay, and it makes it a difficult game to play today. Even if you compare it with other difficult games, like you said, Nolan, you enjoy difficult video games, but this is just in a whole new world of its own.
Yeah. There's an enjoyable factor to be experienced in learning a hard game and repeating levels until you get the hang of the mechanics. But then there's also this, which is just difficult, and then nothing to reward you with other than my misery is over. That was not a fun stage until the next one comes along, and then you're miserable again. There's just no learning to it. It's just inevitably difficult.
Yeah, this one just kind of makes me sad because I'm with you, Dustin, maybe even more so. Like, I just conceptually, I love this game. Even though I think they missed it a little on story and plot, and the like overbearing like character names and attitude was a little bit try hard. I get what they were trying to do with their audience, and like I think this IP could have been absolutely humongous, like they thought it was going to be, if they dialed back the difficulty, tested the game some more, made multiplayer co-op friendly and not punishing, because a beautiful game, fun to listen to, fun to play on the playable parts, the concept of every level feeling completely different, and yet the game still sort of feeling cohesive was just absolutely amazing. But none of that matters because the game is just too hard.
Yeah. Here's some good news, though. Battletoads is in the Rare Replay, which is the new release, or relatively new release, I think, on Xbox. So, Xbox 360, Xbox. It's got a few additional features that makes the game a lot more playable. One of those being a rewind feature that lets you go back in time for a few seconds at any point in any stage.
Huh. Interesting.
Brilliant. Your game is so difficult that you have to add that.
That's what I was thinking too.
Time travel as a solution. Listen, guys, I know we sort of an audience and we're kind of dorky. Time travel is one of the most powerful features you can add to anything.
That's OP.
Like when you can time travel, you win stuff. When a game's so hard that you have to include temporary time travel just to make it bearable, your game is too hard.
There's also in the Rare Replay an infinite turbo tunnel, if that's something that you would enjoy.
For what reason?
Think about that. Who and why?
There is no why. You don't get anything.
I would rather listen to the pause music infinitely.
I wouldn't do that either.
And punish myself that way than try and keep up with an infinite turbo tunnel.
Infinite turbo tunnel. Like,
yeah, that's just wrong.
So basically, this game is aged poorly, but it's because of the decisions that they made in the creation of the game.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like, which almost makes me argue that it is aged well, because like you can pick it up and play it, and it feels like a game as good as the game was originally. Like, there's nothing that's a hurdle for me. The controls, react well. The visuals and graphics are there. You understand what you're supposed to do. The problem is it wasn't a playable game in the first place.
Why is it so popular? Because it is very popular. Why do people love this game?
It's because
it's more infamous than popular.
I mean,
guess
infamous, yes. But there's other really hard games. It's because people align more so with Kenny and I and see that there's quality in this game and see that there's character in this game, but then also the intense difficulty level that separates that. I think it makes it infamous.
And there are people that like flock to that because they want to be able to check it off as like, achievement unlocked. I beat Battletoads, even if it means spending tons and tons of time. There's a reason that it's such a great like speedrun title.
I don't know. I just want to be clear, for me, it's not only the difficulty. I'm just not charmed by it like you guys are. I don't know. No,
we know that. And I will say one thing, because once you get good at this game, and if you put in the hours, it was at this last AGDQ, they did do Battletoads. It was the Mexican runner, and but he also attempted to do something a little unique, and during the turbo tunnel, he did it blindfolded.
Oh, that's a little unique. What? What do you mean? Okay, so it is memory.
It shows you how much you have to play that to get good at it.
Right.
That you can just correlate music.
Hey, but still super impressive. Holy crap.
You're memorizing it. You're not reacting to things.
You have to go see it. And he actually did the warpless run, and
so he
still
played
did
every
that
stage.
within under 30 minutes. So like
that is crazy.
The game really does come down to just memory, and that's what it becomes.
Wow.
From my understanding, just to one of the things I came across information-wise this week as I was looking up this game is that as it's speedrun, in the same way that two-player isn't actually beatable because it has a problem, that sometimes you will run into some randomly spawning elements in the game that cannot be passed. Like, you can't get by them without getting caught. And so, like, you can get through, I don't know, 2/3 of the game and have a random spawn that totally ruins a speedrun that you can't do anything about.
It's fun.
So many little problems with this game.
But do you give this game your vote for New Game Plus status?
No, I don't.
Kenny? Nolan?
I want to go first, actually.
Okay, go first.
Because here's the thing.
I'll just
this
edit
game is going to make you hate playing games because it's insanely difficult. It really is.
But, in general?
Well, no, but if this
games
game
in general.
I'm about to drop a huge butt right on you.
I don't want that.
An anthropomorphic butt?
An anthropomorphic Battletoad butt.
A Dark Queen butt.
The design of this game is absolutely worth being familiar with. It is such a milestone talking point kind of game that I think it's one people ought to be familiar with just how terrible it is so they can actually understand why people are like, no one gets past level 3. And you don't just roll your eyes and be like, I guess it's kind of hard. And it's a good enough title that even though no one who is listening to our show, unless you're like a speedrunner or weird, is actually going to beat this game naturally, I still think that it's worth everybody playing.
There we go.
Not because you're going to get through the game, you're not going to, but because I think people should be familiar with this title, because I think they did enough creative things that it's worth checking out, and that the pain of that third level, let alone all the other levels, should you get past them, is so iconic that, like, as a gamer, I think people should have experienced that. So I say New Game Plus status, yes, everyone should go check out this game and suffer with us.
But you'll hate it, is what you're saying.
You'll like the game, but you'll just hate the game.
Nolan?
No, right? No, it's not worth it. It didn't even make sense. Pick it up. You should play it because it's terrible. No, like it's not. It's hard, yeah, but also it's just not like incredible design. And this is rare. These are my homies. Like I don't give them credit here. I don't like the game, so no, don't play it.
One yes, one no. We have to have 2 affirmative for it to be New Game Plus certified, or 2 negative for us to put
Don't lie to
in
yourself.
the trunk and never play again. Was the game fun? Yes. There are some stages that I absolutely enjoyed. I really enjoy the mechanics. I like the characters. I like the stage art. There are some stages that started fun and then turned out deadly, halfway through. Without cheating and with infinite continues or with save states, this game, with those, it's fun. Without them, this game is unfortunately broken. Therefore, I cannot give it my vote for New Game Plus status, and it is not New Game Plus approved.
Yeah, we didn't even mention, I don't think, there's no password system or continuation system. Outside of those checkpoints,
platformers do give you that.
Yeah, Mega Man gives you that.
Some others at least give you something.
If that would have been in there, this may have been a completely different opinion that I had on the game. But it's not there, so it's
after your 3 continues, you're done and you start the entire game over again.
It sucks.
Yeah, it's brutal. Truly brutal.
We received some thoughts and commentary from some viewers this week. Dylan said, this game includes so much. Like, every single level is so unique. I watched an entire speedrun of Battletoads this week, and it's quite disappointing, the contrast between how easy speedruns make games feel versus real-world difficulty.
It's so true. Like, if you watch this game get played, like a flawless playthrough, you're like, oh, that game looks like a lot of fun, and then you pick it up and try and do it yourself, and you just want to, like, cuss and punch your monitor.
Yeah. Thank you for your email, Dylan. Jan also emailed us. He said, this game is so much fun, and it's so hard. It's one of those games that makes me yell at the TV screen. It's up there with Mega Man, except with Mega Man, your character does exactly what you tell it to do. With Battletoads, when you keep hitting the buttons, your characters start punching your enemies, then hits him on the head and finishes by kicking him with a huge foot. In level 2, sometimes he turns into a wrecking ball or swings to the right either a long way or just a little, or starts punching. Couldn't really figure out how to manipulate what actions he would take. And that's what you said, Nolan, right?
Yeah, it felt like it was out of my hands.
Jan managed to get to level 3 a few times with no save states and kept falling into the ditch. The few levels I played are full of original elements and surprises. A battle with the boss, POV, flying pig things, crows.
Oh, we didn't even mention that. What a great boss.
Yeah, I mean, it's reminiscent of the Shredder fight from the Ninja Turtles.
So I was thinking too.
But just even their boss fights are unique. Like, I don't know.
He continues, there's crows, robots, space invaders, stealing health, jet bike racing. I bet there's more, and I will be coming back to this game to find out. This game is great. Jan.
Interesting.
It is great, and you'll find that it continues to be great should you ever pass level 3. But I'm not crossing my fingers unless you do infinite lives or use some save states. Or want to spend the rest of this year working on it.
A lot of people think this game ends at stage 3. It's 1, 2, 3, and that was fun. Thanks for playing.
Man.
And then finally, Robbie, he wrote and said, just
Robbie.
played the Mega Drive version up to level 7 and came to the conclusion that NES version is a far superior game. Gone in the Mega Drive version are the perfect controls of the original. They're not far off, but just enough to make you miss the original. On level 4, I realized that due to larger sprites, the field of view was reduced a bit. I died enough cheap deaths in level 4 and 6 because of that to make me pretty annoyed. Also, I'm not sure, but also the hit detection seemed to be a little off somehow. Maybe it's a matter of getting used to, but I just plain had less fun playing the Mega Drive version. It's not a bad port, but not perfect either. The fine details were just enough off that it really made me appreciate the Nintendo Entertainment System
Everyone
version.
does sort of hold up the original NES game as sort of the
Sure.
classic title, as the one that looks the best and performs the best. And I get that they spun it off and can't blame them, but this is one that you want to play the original one if you're going to play it.
You know what?
Yeah.
If they would make a remake of it, but still a platformer, I mean, just look at Shovel Knight's success. That is a just bare bones platformer. If they would remake the game and just make some tweaks that in difficulty and in just the quality of life of playing the game, it'd probably be really successful, but they're not a company
Oh, I agree.
that would do that anymore.
Before we randomly select those that are in our Twitch channel viewing us right now, thank you. You damn kids, shout it out to Jabroni. I don't know if he's mad at you or saying hi.
I played Rocket League with you damn kids last night.
Okay. And anyone else,
better
thank
than
you
him.
for hanging out
not true.
with us in this Twitch channel as we slowly and inconsistently build our viewer base.
Absolutely. Videos is fun. It's fun to have a moment where we talk to you guys, but know that because we are a podcast originally, we're
Sure.
not going to do that a lot throughout the episode. We'll probably take a pause right about this point every episode and do some interaction with you guys. So if you ever have questions or whatever, feel free to post them in Twitch chat. They're just not going to get real-time attention because of the format of what we're, originally doing.
Yeah.
But love that you guys watch us live. Thanks.
And if you are viewing this video sometime later in time on YouTube or in our Twitch backlog, then just know that this is our raw, unedited, white
Right.
noise-filled episode. And if you want a cleaner, crisper, more powerful version, then I would really encourage you to subscribe to us on one of our on one of your podcast providers so that you can hear the edited and crisp episodes each and every week. But it is that time of the week where we randomly select our next game. What
Never
game are
been
we
more
going to
ready.
be playing over the next 7 days? We're going to find out now. Merry
But it
Christmas,
won't be
Kenny.
as hard as Battletoads, unless maybe we get like Top Gun. I don't know. What other games are really
Is Top Gun
notoriously
harder
hard?
than Battletoads?
It's also notorious for being a really, really impossible NES
I played
game.
that one a lot.
I'm sure we'll play it someday.
I think Battletoads is going to be the most difficult game we've ever
I think
played.
so too.
But the next game that we're going to be playing is going to be a game that's going to release some tension that was built up from this week. It's going to be an enjoyable open world racing video game
Racing.
from 1999 that was released in the arcade, and it's called Crazy Taxi.
Oh wow. Open
Crazy
world.
Taxi.
That threw me
Yeah,
off. I was
interesting.
thinking I don't know.
Hold
what I was-
on. Have neither of you guys played this game?
Nope.
No.
Oh my goodness.
You have?
Yes, this is one of my favorite PlayStation games.
It's a popular
and
game.
One of my favorite games to play in the arcade. Guys, this
Do
game...
I get to shoot other taxis with my taxi?
No, it's
No,
not
this isn't
battle.
Vigilante.
It's
Okay,
going,
good.
it's
Ugh.
going, you pick who your taxi driver is, and then you go and you pick up pedestrians and you take them to their location as the timer's counting down. And the way that you avoid wrecks and the way that you get to that destination and in the time that you get to that destination builds up time and builds up money. And so within your time, once it hits zero, however much money you have, you can then use to get to the next level and get to the next stage. It's a lot of fun, and there's some good like modes to play that's not just your standard game mode.
If I was
so
just listening to you talk and not hearing the excitement in your voice and even like seeing how pumped you are, I would be like, this game sounds terrible.
Can you
But
run over
I'm actually
pedestrians
kind
and
of
get in wrecks?
pumped now.
Is it like
I mean,
Grand
yeah,
Theft Auto?
it's not Grand Theft Auto. There's no blood, but
Oh.
I think that this game originally got some pretty good reviews. Like we're talking about 4.5 stars. We're talking about 9 out of 10s. So I don't want to push it too much, but just you wait.
Oh, we'll
I'm
see.
excited for that.
Nolan, you want to talk about our Discord real quick, or either one of you guys?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. We have a Discord server now, and it's free, and you should come check it out. We talk to you guys all week about the game that we're playing, or about random stuff, or about some music that you want to listen to at work. We've got lots of channels to chat. So, yeah, if you don't have Discord, it's very simple. You can go sign up for free, and then either use a browser client or download it. And there's going to be a link to our server in our Twitter, or in our Twitter description, and also elsewhere. We'll get it to you. And yeah, just come in there and chat and hang out. It's very awesome. And like I said, we're in there all the time, so it's a very real-time way to talk with us instead of just using email or Twitter, if that's what you were before. And we've gained a lot of people this past week, and it's really fun. So check it out.
And I will also include that link in our episode description. So
Cool.
Just look in the podcast as you're listening to this, and you can find the link there. Join us this week while you're at work. Download it on your phone. It's an easy way to keep in touch with us throughout the week. Also, you can visit us on our Facebook and Twitter. It's just whatever that is, Facebook, Twitter /NGP Podcast. You can listen to us. You can listen to us directly on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Music, or any other podcast provider. Make sure you subscribe to us so that you are the first to get NGP episodes. And then you can always find some behind-the-scenes kind of extra bonus content on our Patreon. That's patreon.com/NGP podcast. And I want to thank Bill for upping his donations. And so, Bill,
Thanks,
we
man.
greatly appreciate you and all that you do. And welcome to the Discord channel. He just hopped in there recently.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, Kenny, you're going to have to come visit sometime soon and see Bill.
My gosh. Shots will be fired every week until you get in there and talk. I don't think you said one thing this week.
That is not true. I was
Kenny?
part of the conversation about
No,
pause
no.
music.
I will look it up. You said
I
one
was.
thing.
Yeah, I'm not nearly as active as you
Kenny's
guys,
words
but-
are sacred. You
but
got to
I'm
get
around
lucky.
to connect. Yeah, I'm just a man of few words, but good words. So thanks to all of our patrons who support us. You guys really do make this possible to do with excellence and continuing excellence. Especially thanks to Bradley and Zion, and to every one of you guys who listens, who rates and reviews, who recommends us to a friend. We love old video games. We love getting to experience them with you, and the more of us that do that, the more fun we have. So please play along this week if you're able to and have the time. That's definitely our favorite way to interact with you, is to have a conversation. But if not, at least enjoy us playing one old crazy game as we spend the week playing Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, join us next week as we play Crazy Taxi. Until then, I'm still Dustin.
I'm still kidding.
I'm Nolan. I thought he was thinking of something.
And this has been New Game Plus.
Bye, stream.
Before